Good morning, everybody. It's the 11th of January in 2025. And, well, following the news, it's not like there's some really big events politically, but as we all know, there's the kind of disasters. They had a big flood in Saudi Arabia, I guess bigger than usual, and I guess they have them regularly. But this one was a little bit bigger. And of course, can't forget about the fire in Los Angeles. Of course, and this is all linked politically. Oh, by the way, I'd like to say this area here, normally a nice area in the summertime. There's a big park over here, and even this apartment complex. And nice trees. Looks nicer in the summer, as I say. And I'll take a stroll through the park here, even though there's no leaves on the trees. Doesn't look too nice at the moment. But as far as this fire is concerned, if y'all realize they couldn't fight this fire because of all the cuts. What was it, $17 million was cut from the Los Angeles Fire Department for their resources. And not only that, they didn't have any water in the fire hydrants. You know, they have a kind of a shortage of water over there in some places in California. And you would think maybe in the wintertime there'd be a less chance of there being a fire, but not necessarily. And of course, the worst part is they sent all their equipment, their excess equipment, I should say. They only kept what was necessary, and they sent everything else to Ukraine. And that was Los Angeles. It makes you wonder how many places on planet Earth sent their things to Ukraine. And another question you can ask is, well, what did Ukraine do with those things? Ukraine, I can almost bet you, just like most of the weapons, they ended up in different countries. The country, sad to say, the system in Ukraine is so corrupt. It is so indelibly corrupt. It is incredibly corrupt that they probably took that equipment and they sold it. They sold it to some other places. So they're getting all of this stuff from the United States and who knows where else, and they're finding people who are in need of it, and then they, lower the price quite a bit, give people an offer they can't refuse. As you know, a lot of the weapons that the United States sent, that was all sent to a lot of, say, terrorist groups, and whoever, and maybe a lot of those terrorist groups, they get their money from the U.S. So the U.S., some places would send some weapons or some agencies, and then would go to Ukraine, and then Ukraine would sell that to terrorist groups. They get their money from the U.S. as well, from the federal government. And not only that, a lot of the weapons that are built, as you all know, they're built in the United States, and what a scheme! And a lot of people are making a lot of money. What do you call it? The military-industrial complex, I guess. And of course, the military-industrial complex. It's not just the weapons. I mentioned in one video. Of course, it's like boots for soldiers, and even the mess equipment. In the United States, if you're going to be feeding your soldiers, but apparently, I don't know, the United States might not. But then there was some big oligarch, I can't remember which one it was, who was, let's see, I think he got fired from Ukraine. It was a big name. Doesn't come to my head at the moment, but anyway, the guy got released. He was sending really bad food to the soldiers in Ukraine, those that actually got food, and a lot of them are not getting fed. They're not getting clothed. They don't get ammunition. I guess they had ammunition. They take it and they send it to terrorists. And of course, Ukraine, obviously, as we all know, they're heavily involved in places like Syria or in North Africa. Wherever Russia has soldiers, the Ukraine sends soldiers. Maybe not much of their soldiers, but they're sending equipment and maybe a few of their soldiers. Maybe they're experts, the ones that are maybe out of harm's way, such as those that link up with satellites that can pinpoint and direct the attacks on, with American equipment used on where maybe Russian soldiers or those that are allied with Russia. It's absolutely incredible. And thinking that they're going to weaken Russia for one reason or another. Gosh, it's just so much corruption. And of course, that's compliments of the American taxpayer for the most part. It comes from everybody because the U.S. has the world's reserve currency, as you know. And of course, the prices get jacked up and inflation and everything else because of this sort of a thing. But yeah, like I said, that was how the fires in Los Angeles ties in with a lot of this political stuff going on. I can't remember. There are some, like even Donald Trump Jr. maybe, and Elon Musk. They probably make some hints as well about these people that can't fight the fires because they sent all their resources to Ukraine. Bunch of idiots. So, okay. So the Ukraine, you know, they're the priority to send this stuff to Ukraine, but yet it doesn't turn out to be for the Ukrainians. And obviously the United States, I'm talking about the elites, they don't give a crap about the Ukrainian people. They don't even give a crap about Ukraine, nothing about Ukraine whatsoever. They just get in front of the cameras and they talk like that. What they care about, you know, they have all these big oligarchs, you know, Blackwater, which is, I don't know how many, couple hundred firms, different firms, and there's even more firms not even a part of Blackwater. Maybe you can even add another 100 firms, and they're all tied into Ukraine, you know, getting property, you know, for pennies on the dollar. A lot of these people, they can even afford to lose it because they make so much money and they cheat so many people. I tell you, I don't know, makes you really not want to ever invest in anything if you ever get some money. But Biden, I don't know, where he had some appointment to go somewhere and he didn't go there because he apparently he went to California. But what is he going to do? Is he going to, you know, put on a uniform or something, a firefighter outfit, and start throwing water on the fires when there is no water? I don't know. It's kind of like Nero. What is that? Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Well, Biden is fiddling while Los Angeles is burning. You can't even make this stuff up. So you can talk about that with a lot of things anyway. Denmark. Now let's talk about Denmark a little bit. Denmark, and you know, which means Greenland. So Greenland is owned by Denmark, and they say Greenland is the largest island, which of course is not true in any shape or form. It is actually Australia. What is it? It's almost 4 times the size. But they say that since Australia is a continent, that it's not an island. You know, it's I don't know. I have a different opinion of what an island is. They said because it has its own tectonic plate, Australia. But it's also true that India has its own tectonic plate. But India is not a continent. Strange. Obviously, India is not an island, but then it should be a continent. So all of this stuff is influenced by politics. You know? I don't know. And what about a little bit more about Greenland? Greenland, it's not quite as big as what they say on the maps. You know, you look on the map and it looks like it's huge. It looks like it's, how do I say this? It looks like it's bigger than actually Australia. I think, what do you put? You can, like I said, you can put 3.5 Greenlands inside of Australia. But it's all distorted in the map. The only thing that's accurate, I guess, they have this Mercure sort of a deal. I don't know what it's called, but it's how when you're looking at these maps that it's all distorted. And one of the only places that is really accurate is Africa, and Africa is huge. So that's actually more accurate. But when you're looking at places like Canada, even Russia is much smaller than what they say. So even though it's a big country, sure, but Canada is much smaller. So I guess as far north as you go, or towards the poles, that it gets more distorted. And Antarctica, they show that as being really huge too. And I guess it's not really that big. I don't know. I'm not really that concerned about Antarctica. But more about Greenland. Greenland has only like 60,000 people for population. Very, very tiny. You know, so Minsk, the city of Minsk, is many times bigger in population than the entire island of Greenland anyway. Or a country. Well, it's not a country yet, even though they have some sort of an autonomous agreement with Denmark. I think that came in like 1979. I don't know. You have to look that stuff up. But first they said Greenland is not for sale, and now I guess the Prime Minister of Greenland, I guess, you know, maybe he got 20 5,000 votes. I don't know. And won the election with that. I have no idea. But apparently, now he says he wants to talk with Trump, and even I guess the Prime Minister of Denmark is amenable to that. So I don't know what that means. Some people were saying just in case Denmark would have to defend themselves or defend Greenland against Donald Trump, they wouldn't have much of a chance, because here again, they sent all their airplanes and they sent so much of their military equipment to Ukraine. Everybody's sending all their stuff to Ukraine. It makes you really wonder. It's like when Donald Trump was saying that Zelensky is like the greatest salesman in the world, and he probably really is when you think about it. Zelensky is incredibly rich. And even though Donald Trump, he went down, I think, after he left office to like, I guess his fortune was like 1.2 billion or whatever. But now he's up, I heard, I don't know if this is true, like he's up to 10 billion. I'm not even quite sure. Or maybe it was 7 billion. I really don't know. That's because he started this Truth Social. So he started a network like Twitter or whatever, I guess you could say. So that's brought him up again. So he might have actually now more money than Zelensky. But Zelensky, I think by the time Trump left office, Zelensky was 3 times richer than Donald Trump, apparently. And once Zelensky started reaching $5 billion, I guess they started hiding whatever his wealth is at. So he doubled his wealth within like what, a year or a little over a year, into the billions. Boy, oh boy, how do you make billions? Wow. And also in a short period of time, I guess since Elon Musk started backing Donald Trump. Now this is some news that's going to really kind of shock you. He was very close with Jeff Bezos as far as wealth is concerned, but I think now he's rated as having twice as much. And I guess since the time that within less than a year, I don't know if this is true. I saw this somewhere, so this is very shocking if this is true. I guess within, I don't know, a little bit more than a year or 1 year, Elon Musk acquired $20 billion? No, I mean, excuse me. Hold on. Why am I saying 200 billion? 200 billion. I guess he's worth 400 billion now? I don't know. That's incredible. But I guess that's true. And old Jeff Bezos, he's stuck down at 200 and something billion. So, anyway, that's just some strange facts. But I was also going to throw this in, saying that with Denmark and whatever's going on there, it's like something smells rotten in Denmark. We can talk about Nero fiddling. What's that? Some kind of literature. Now you can throw in the literature from Shakespeare. Something smells rotten in Denmark. I guess that's from Hamlet. I don't know. A lot of great stuff in Shakespeare. Yeah. So that's, I don't know. Can you call all this stuff, while these countries are getting destroyed, like Olaf Schultz, while the, the selfie stick is not very good. Tips around. But so it's like an example is Olaf Schultz, while his country is getting poor, he's letting, he keeps the gas out. All these countries, these people are 100% willing to sacrifice their country and their people for the power of the U.S. It's really weird, really strange. I don't even know why they would do that. And it looks like Elon Musk, he actually admires, even Donald Trump, he admires people that take care of their own country. So that's probably why he likes Viktor Orban. He probably likes Robert Fico, who's one of my favorite leaders, maybe my favorite, I don't know. I like Lukashenko too, from Belarus. Much understood by a lot of people because of the bad press he gets, and people just don't really concern themselves. When they hear these bad things about Belarus, they don't really look it up, and they don't, so Lukashenko gets some bad press. It's a little bit like Bashar al-Assad. They said, oh, what a brutal leader. And then you ask anybody, well, what did he do that's brutal? Well, he's a bad guy. Nobody can come up with any kind of evidence. Makes you really wonder. I've even heard people, I think they're lawyers, that have law degrees. And normally it's when you come up with some sort of a, accusation, you have to have facts to base it on, That's like, what? So you don't have any facts, but yet he's brutal. Tell me about that. I don't know. I was even talking with people like I've said this before, from Lebanon when I was living in a different country, and they were saying, oh, Assad, oh, you know. Well, I said, what did he do? Well, he's a bad guy. That's all everybody ever says. Oh, he's a bad guy. Well, what did he do? That's a bad guy. Bad people do bad things. So what did he do? Well, he's a bad guy. Well, the fact of the matter is, Assad, his biggest problem was he was too much of a nice guy, I think. And of course, he maybe there are people in the country that did things that he didn't really approve of. It's because maybe he just gives them a little bit of a free hand because he was not really that strong of a leader, I fear. I'm just fearing that. You know, he's not a brutal. He's exactly the opposite of that. So, and there's a lot more evidence to prove that's true than that he's brutal. Just for your own information. I don't like to go with, because everybody tells me that this is the case, I'm not going to go along with that unless there's some sort of evidence, and there's no evidence. So, that's about it. So, Romania, that's another thing. There's a guy, let me see, Thierry Breton. I guess he's French, because he speaks French, as far as I know. I guess he's French. And he has come out and said that they nullified, that the EU, he was the commissioner, the EU commissioner, and he said, well, he's actually the former commissioner, and he said that the European Union, they're the ones that canceled the Romanian elections. They canceled it. They're the ones responsible for that. Yeah, and they said that they're going to do the same if the Alternative for Deutschland, the AfD party, wins in the election here in February. So if the AfD wins, and that's the one that Elon Musk has chosen, if they win, they're going to nullify that election as well. So I guess that's called democracy. You know, but you have to talk around about democracy this and democracy that. So there you go. A lot of babushkas, as you noticed. Lots of babushkas in LRF. So democracy. I don't know. Another thing, talk about a little bit more about freedom of speech. Mark Zuckerberg. He was on Joe Rogan. I didn't see the entire interview. I only saw part of it. But it was like, wow, you know? Apparently, and it looked genuine. He was being honest about this. And it's just like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos came out before Donald Trump won the election, and he said he's going to stop a lot of that crap that's going on. So maybe these people, in a sense, maybe they were actually, and I don't want to say weak, because I'm not in their shoes, and maybe I would have done the same thing, but they caved in to the Joe Biden administration. And of course, Obama was even a lot of the time before this. And I think even during Trump's time, it's not that Trump was doing it, maybe people in his administration. Trump had some, you know, terrible people that he put in, like John Bolton and all. And a lot of these people, they weren't such great. And Trump can't go around and stomping out fires and doing everything himself. So a lot of these people, they just kind of did some things that maybe they shouldn't have been doing. And they were not for any maybe freedom of speech even in Trump's time, but they're certainly not in the Biden. Biden hates freedom of speech, just like they hate the Ukrainians. They hate the Ukrainian people in real truth. You know, it's much different than what they come out and tell you. They hate the Ukrainians. They hate Ukrainians just as much as they hate Russians. So, but they're just being used as useful idiots. They're tools. They're tools until they can get into Russia and to take Russians' resources. They don't even like the American people, if you want to be honest about it. They care about themselves. They care about their wealth. They care about their power. You know. I'll get into a little bit more about that when I get to Andrew Tate here, when I talk about Andrew Tate. But Mark Zuckerberg said he was actually forced, and he said his reason, just like everybody's reason for starting one of these social networks, is to give people a voice. So I actually believe what he's saying, and he was pressured to do all this sort of thing. And obviously, you know what they were saying. You know, you don't do what we tell you to do, you know, or we're going to destroy your platform. How many times have you heard that sort of stuff? I mean, the government, under most presidents anyway, maybe all presidents, it runs like a mafia. It's just like a mafia. You do what we say, you know, or, we know where your daughter goes to school, man. We hate to see anything happens to her. Oh, we hate to see anything happen to your little daughter. Hey, by the way, does she still sitting in that classroom down there and blah, 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 and your wife, we know where she does her laundry. We don't want anything to happen to her now, do we? So you get pressured with that sort of thing. You know, I don't know. I don't know if you can resist that. Makes you really wonder. They're putting pressure also, as I've said in other things about on Candace Owens, and I wonder if they're going to find some sort of a recipe to probably do her in too. Candace Owens, if they start threatening her that way, she'll probably come right out and start saying it. She'll say, look, they threatened me. They said they're going to do this if I don't comply with keeping my mouth shut. I don't know. Very strange stuff. Yes. And Zuckerberg was also talking about, you know what happened? You know that sickness that was going around started at the very end of 2019, and then people were locked inside and told to stay 2 meters apart from each other and wear masks, and they were locked down. You remember that sickness. I don't really want to say the words because you know, I've been censored already. I've been kicked off 4 times now for talking about this. You know, it's mostly the medical intervention. And I even said something once about Ursula von der Leyen. I can say her name, but I said something true about her, and they kicked me off. Once I was suspended for a week for that. You know? I don't know, why do they do that to my channel more than they do to other people's? You know, the deal is they've even basically come out and told me that they did for those reasons. So, I don't know, get shadow banned. Even Mark Zuckerberg was talking about shadow banning, that they were told to shadow ban people and do all this sort of thing. You know, if they don't come out and say something that they can actually kick them off for, they're going to do other things that hurts them. So, what about YouTube? Now Zuckerberg, he said he's going to stop all this stuff, and he's going to start telling the truth. He wants the truth to be out, which is a very good thing. And it looks like maybe Jeff Bezos is the same thing. Well, what about YouTube? What about why does YouTube? They're still you know, holding out, and they're how do I put it? I'll put it the way that Mark Zuckerberg said. He said that he was told to support lies and to censor the truth. He came out and he said that. You know, maybe in a little bit different words, but if you watch Joe Rogan, that's what he said on Joe Rogan. He was told to support people that lie and to censor people that told the truth. And it's just like what, I don't think I can say that. You know, like a social platform that I use. Matter of fact, the only one. They are the same thing. If I tell the truth, I'm going to get censored. If I tell a lie, then it's just fine and dandy. They'll leave me alone. It's incredible. But that's democracy, and that's freedom of speech. You know, all this stuff. I don't like it when people walk. You know, it's weird. Like walking in crowds, it's not so bad. But walking when there's single people like this, because they stop and stare at you and, you know, make weird faces. I don't like it so much. Yes. So another person that's heavily censored, but in a much different way. I was going to talk about him, Andrew Tate. I think Elon Musk said that his choice for the Prime Minister of the UK is Andrew Tate. And I think he had a little squabble, obviously, with Nigel Farage, which I think was a little bit kind of like premature. I mean, he said, he shouldn't be the leader of his party, and they should have somebody else. And Elon Musk was talking about putting that Tommy Robinson, and I might be wrong about Tommy Robinson. I don't really know. Maybe I am succumbing to a lot of fake news or something saying things about him, but I don't know. It's like maybe trustworthy people that I saw their sites, and they were telling me that Tommy Robinson is actually hates Muslims and all this sort of deal. I don't know. I might be wrong. Like I say, it seems like it was proven to me. Maybe I saw something that he said. Maybe it was taken out of context. I don't know. It's possible to do that too. So I'm not quite so sure. Not quite sure on that. Like I always even say that it seems that Donald Trump is against Muslims, but there's even been some news about that might not even be quite as true, or maybe not as extreme as I was believing it was. And I'll tell you that in a moment. So, but Andrew Tate, they censor Andrew Tate. He was probably the most searched person by Google or whatever, and he lives in Romania. He's very rich, he said, and I guess he's still making a lot of money. And he was a a martial arts expert, very strong guy. What were they? He talks about what masculine. I don't know. Anyway, against male femininity and things like that. So they called him some different sort of names. I don't know. But anyway, he's stuck in Romania. They basically don't let him out. And they constantly keep him going to court. And when he wins the court cases, I think they're saying he was into prostitution or stuff like that. And when it's proven to be fake, they find something else, or somebody appeals or whatever. Anyway, they're trying to keep him there and keep him busy, so he cannot participate probably on social media, because he's a very, very well-spoken guy, and he gains a lot of appeal. So they're trying to keep him busy and keep him out of sight. And he came out and he made a video. It's sort of a manifesto, and so it's interesting, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So, but it seems that Biden. I knew that. I gotta get the two mixed up. No, Biden is trying to cause as much harm for Donald Trump as possible. He's trying to, send as much money to Ukraine, billions and billions. Don't worry, the American taxpayers will pay for that. But anyway, he's trying to send as much money as possible, and he's I guess he's put sanctions from hell on Russia. I thought they already had the sanctions from hell. I think there's thousands of sanctions. Obviously, it is the most sanctioned country in the history of the world by a long, long, long shot, even far, far, far beyond what they were doing to Iran. Really interesting. And I guess this time they're trying to put sanctions on all the boats that are running Russian oil to different places so far illegally. But Russia, I guess they're even sending more liquid natural gas. But what's going to happen anyhow? Because of these sanctions, I think that's 108 ships they put sanctions on now, that maybe are not even flagged, the Russian flags or like that. So, but it's going to support the United States liquid natural gas industry, and I don't know what it's going to do to Russia. Russia seems to be a lot smarter than the United States, and I think Joe Biden said that it's going to. I think he admits it's going to harm Europe very much, because they're going to have to be paying huge prices for liquid natural gas. It might even somebody in the Bundestag, I guess they were promoting to turn on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, the one that was not damaged. And of course they try to keep that a big secret, and they say of course that Russia shut off the gas and Russia this and Russia that. I have no idea, but anyhow, we'll see. We will see about that one. But he was calling these people that are running Great Britain, Andrew Tate, I'm back to Andrew Tate again, he was calling them Satanists, and they're not Satanists, but I guess they're godless. I think, he went a little bit too, he sounded a little bit too extreme on that when he made that video manifesto. Maybe you guys can see it, maybe so. I guess it was probably done from his house in Romania. I don't know if he's free to go around, maybe he's on house arrest. So, but these people, it's just these globalists and the same people that we talk about, it's George Soros and all of them. These people are, they're godless. Well, even George Soros admits he's an atheist. He's godless. A lot of these people are godless, and instead they worship power and money. So it's greed, and it's arrogance. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's like Sergei Lavrov said, that the United States, they fight and they go to war for resources. And Russia, he said, goes to war for people. There's a lot of truth in that, it seems. So, but the news from the West, they try to, deflect that and make it look like Russia's going for something else, whatever. It's just unbelievable. So, in other news, Trump posted a video on his Truth Social of Jeffrey Sachs. It's actually very significant. He posted a video of Jeffrey Sachs, and when Jeffrey Sachs, I don't even remember who he was talking about to at that time, but Jeffrey Sachs, I love Jeffrey Sachs. He's a person who is not afraid to come out and tell the truth. He even talks about some mistakes he's made in the past. One time, It's incredible. He's an incredible person. He's a professor of economics from Columbia, and he used to be, maybe kind of in a way still is, very respected by the U.S. government and virtually all governments. It's probably because he has a penchant for telling the truth. He's an incredible guy, Jeffrey Sachs. I don't know, I used to say that Paul Craig Roberts was my favorite economist. I still like both of them, so you never know. So, but anyway, on this video, he's talking about Netanyahu, but Trump, remember, if it was Donald Trump that put this up, or maybe it was somebody that runs Trump's site on his Truth Social network. But Jeffrey Sachs called, what did he call him? He called Netanyahu a deep, dark son of a bastages. He didn't say it in that way. But anyway, he knows that this is basically an evil guy. And he said, Jeffrey Sachs, like I said, he's very, very intelligent, and he knows that these wars are all done for economic reasons. So he says that the United States, all these wars, the war in Iraq, all these things, these are done at the insistence or the power, the control, for the most part, of Benjamin Netanyahu. All these, if you want to talk about somebody who is responsible for mass murder, it's almost undeniable. It's an undeniable fact that Netanyahu is probably the one single individual in all of world history that is more responsible for killing people than anybody else that has ever lived. And if you, maybe that's the term where that Andrew Tate should have used his word Satanist for. But I tell you what, the guy scares the BS because he's really smooth too. I kind of, when I first saw Benjamin Netanyahu, I said, wow, this guy sounds pretty cool. And I kind of liked the guy, But I wasn't really that much into politics, but when I first saw him talking. But the thing is, everything that comes out of that guy's mouth is exaggerations and lies. They're just full, pure lies. And this guy, it's like he is so convincing that he believes the lie wholeheartedly throughout every cell in his body that he comes across as being genuine. Really incredible. I don't know, Candace Owens is also very good at the truth, but like Jeffrey Sachs. Don't put Candace Owens and Jeffrey Sachs in the same category as Benjamin Netanyahu. By no means possible. Don't do that. Yeah, but if the world is now coming, strangely enough, it seems like a lot of truth is coming out. It's like a truth movement where the real truth is coming. In these Biden years, we had nothing but lies on top of lies, projections, everything. Everything was fake and lies more than at any time that I've ever seen. So all this stuff about the sickness that was going around, even about, I'll tell you what, look at this, what happened, what was it, October 7th, 2023 in Israel. The Hamas sort of a deal. That itself is a huge lie. And there's so much information surrounding that. And it's much like the JFK sort of a thing. They put out so much information that you don't know really what the truth is. But it is absolutely true, because this was done, the research was done by Max Blumenthal, who is one of the most incredible reporters in the world, investigative journalist, incredible. And if you want to find out the truth about what happened in Israel, what would cause all of these mass murders of all these people that are dying in Gaza, you have to look that up. Look up what Max Blumenthal has to say about that. And by the way, Max Blumenthal is Jewish. So, I don't know, maybe a self-hating Jew. All of these titles, it's incredible. It's like Candace Owens, calling her an anti-Semite when she's worked a lot with Jewish organizations. Maybe it's a big difference between what Zionism is and what Judaism is. All that. But by the way, I think they also call Candace Owens a white supremacist. So a black woman is a white supremacist. Maybe she's sexist too. Maybe she's anti-feminist. I have no idea. They'll find anything. Anybody that wants to come out and tell the truth, they're getting attacked. I remember Liam Neeson. I think, he's a great actor, and I think they attacked him for a while. I can't remember what happened, but I think it was some black person raped some somebody close to him. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. But he said, and he was actually admitting that he had wrong feelings, is what he was saying. But he said that when he was seeing young black men, that he was feeling this prejudice towards them. So the left attacked him and called him a racist because he was admitting that he was harboring wrong feelings based on the fact that some woman close to him was raped by a black man or something like that. You know? So it's like you don't know what to say. You don't know what to say with these leftists and all that. But apparently a lot of this leftist crap is going to be ending very soon. Apparently with Trump, I don't know. What do you call that? The Trump effect, I guess. It's really incredible. And it's not like I really love Trump. Trump is really going to go after a lot of countries. He's going to go after Russia. He just does it in a different way. He doesn't go out and flat out kill people. But I'm just wondering, if he is still supportive of Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, Trump did not do some very good things in the Middle East either there. So he makes mistakes. Surely. It's hard to say. Maybe this time, because maybe that's why they blocked him. And I don't know, am I allowed to say what the establishment did in that election when he was going against Biden? I think you're not allowed to talk about that, about why Biden won. I'm in agreement with Trump that the real winner was Donald Trump. But I'm not supposed to use certain words, I guess, because I think I'll get censored for saying that on YouTube. YouTube is not yet as far as maybe as Facebook will be very, very soon, and even things like Jeff Bezos or whatever. So the truth. So it's going to be interesting, especially if YouTube starts allowing people to tell the truth instead of telling lies, and that we have to avoid coming out and saying things that indicate the truth. God dang, incredible. So we'll see. But I don't know what was the point I was trying to get on. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. We'll see if the truth starts to come out. Look at this. It's like ice on top of the water, so it's pretty cold. Obviously, it's weird because we've been having it. It's been getting cold and then getting hot. I mean, not hot. It's getting warm. Like it gets to like 2 or 3 degrees, so that you see puddles, and then it gets where there's ice and it gets slippery. I don't know. But anyway, I think I was trying to make some kind of point. Forgot now. It wasn't any of that important anyway. But let's just see. Let's just see what's going to happen during the Trump time. And if I think I was going to say something about supporting Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, moving the American embassy to Jerusalem instead of having it in Tel Aviv. I don't know. I hope he's still not so Zionist. It's probably because his daughter, but his daughter is Jewish, converted to Judaism, not to Zionism. So maybe he's going to start telling the difference in that. I have no idea. We'll see. So anyway, I guess that's about all I have to say. I didn't say it's 11th January 2025. Maybe I said 24 at the beginning. I don't know. So, like I said, I can't do many of these videos so much anymore because we're going full bore in school now. But anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you on the next one. And yeah, don't forget to put a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, push that subscribe button. So, till the next one. Bye-bye.